That is a police officer right there. And they're here running the VIN on this creation and telling us whether it's stolen or not and whether they're going to impound it because of a host of various problems, I'm sure.
Because we bought it from a Florida man.
Yeah, we bought it from a Florida man, so there's no telling. I mean, just look at this. It's a 1967 Cadillac DeVille drop top on a K10 chassis with 39.5-inch super swampers. So you saw this thing on Facebook Marketplace and you had to have it. Why?
Well, we're going to be doing this Death Wish Mud Buggy adventure with Josh Mazerall, and this seemed like the perfect car for it.
Yeah, so we've already named the car, and we couldn't just name it, you know, the Radillac or the Mudillac or something basic like that. It has to have some sort of meaning. So if you ever watch Smokey and the Bandit, you know the very beginning, there's a red Cadillac in the scene with Big Enos and Little Enos in it, and the plate reads Mr. Big. So I present to you Mr. Big, and it's going to have the exact same vanity plate. It's going to read Mr. Big on the back. And I think it's pretty fitting. It gives it kind of a reference to one of my favorite movies, and it is pretty big after all.
It is big.
This is probably the coolest thing we've ever bought. I bet we're going to break it very quickly into the adventure, but we're going to give it our best shot and see what we can do, because we've never really done anything 4x4 related.
No.
We are delving into a world we do not really understand, but, you know, it's just a car, right? It can't be that hard.
Yeah, it's not dirt every day with us. It's dirt every now and then.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get to work. So, I'm underneath the rear of the Cadillac right now, and as you can see, we got ourselves a 10-bolt. Not exactly the rear end you want when you're running 39.5-inch tires over rocks. You'll break things, for sure. So my plan is to open this up, see what spline axles I have and what carrier I have so I can re-gear it, and I want to put a mini spool in this for when I do break something, I can actually take it apart rather than doing the old Lincoln locker in here and welding all those spider gears together, because if you weld it, you can't really get all the center section apart. So let's break into it, see what spline axles we have, and order some parts. If you had told me I'd be working on a lifted 67 Cadillac for the first project in the new shop, I wouldn't have believed you, but life is funny that way sometimes. Oh, there's something. At least I had some sort of gear oil. Doesn't seem like I had a whole lot though. Like almost none. And the ring and pinion don't look like they have been meshing very happily, which is also great. So I was kind of planning to re-gear it anyway, and that might be a good thing. So, as I was saying, it doesn't look great in here. You can see the wear pattern is all kinds of jacked up, and if you look at the actual pinion, it's got a bit of scoring going on. I mean, that doesn't really matter in an off-road rig, but, you know, if it's street legal, we might as well drive it down the freeway at 60 miles an hour with 39.5-inch dry-rotted boggers. That would be awesome. Not really. It's more of an around-town cruiser, but that's not exactly ideal. So I gotta figure out what carrier this is and order some new gears. See if I can spin it. Oh, man. That sucker's almost broken already. It'll be fine. Yep, that pin's a little worn. You can see some grooves in it. So that thing was moving around a little bit. Not exactly ideal. Yep. So now we get to count splines. Exciting. So I just pulled the axle out. It's got 28 hole splines on it. So it's the weak one that came in this thing. I'm kind of glad I decided to break into this thing, because check out those spider gears. They actually have chips on the teeth. This thing is pretty toasty inside. Gotta love a 10-bolt. Naturally, the shop isn't built yet, so when it does rain, water gets on half the slab and runs onto the rest of it. So I think I'm gonna call it quits for the night because it's gonna get mighty wet in here in a second. And there we go. The water is spreading into my work area. So we're gonna put the Cadillac to bed for the night and get cracking on this thing when it's not doing that outside. But look how cinematic that is. It's actually kind of nice. You need like some romantic scene happening right here. Oh, Jack, I'll never leave you. And then she drops him into the ocean and lets him freeze to death. That's how it goes. Alrighty, guys. Well, things are getting interesting here at Sally's Speed Shop. We got the entire shop structure up, which is a big deal. But now we're going to take a break from that and build the Cadillac because we have an adventure in 4 days, which means we have 3 days to build this entire car. And sure, it might look like it's kind of complete, but really, that Cadillac frame isn't even attached to the chassis, so we got a lot of welding to do, a lot of fabrication. I want to put a roll bar and harnesses in it. We got to re-gear it, we got to fix the brakes, we got to mount the radiator, we got to rewire it. We got to do a lot of stuff. We have no idea if the four-wheel drive works. We have no idea of the bill of health of the engine. It should go real well.
On all these shows, they always have time crunches. We didn't make this up. This actually is a time crunch.
But we did it to ourselves.
Yeah.
Because we're idiots.
But we're going to try to make it work.
We're going to make it work, but it's going to be a lot of work in 3 days.
We got a long way to go and a short time to get there.
Make it Smokey and the Bandit references. I like it. We have pulled the Cadillac into the center of the shop where we got room to work around it. And we're going to see what's in the trunk.
There we go.
So there's a giant aluminum fuel cell that we're probably going to get rid of because that seems sketchy to me. This is apparently out of an RV or something. Well, there's the front drive shaft. We got ourselves a cooler apparently. XM satellite radio, I think. Yeah, look at that. We can jam out. All kinds of random stuff back here. Look at all the wiring. Oh my goodness. We got some bumper jacks, which are terrifying. Never use one of those.
I don't think they'll reach.
Yeah, our bumper's a little higher than stock. And look at this stupid little trailer hitch. How would that tow anything? It is a mess back here, but we're going to clean it up. Put our spare tires back here and a fuel cell. She'll be good to go. We found ourselves a mouse nest. Lovely. So far, I haven't seen any actual living creatures yet, but I'm sure there's some in here, or maybe some dead ones. But look, even the cardboard is still intact. Mint. Apparently, the last time this vehicle was registered was 2008. Granted, it was in stock Cadillac form with the original Cadillac V8 and all the Cadillac frame and suspension underneath it. So it's a little different than back then, but in a way, it's still kind of a revival. I don't know. Makes sense if you don't think about it. Look at this mess. We need the shop vac. Stat. Lieutenant Dan, you ain't got no legs. Oh man, it looks anemic without those tires on it. Chevy 10 bolts, I'm sure they'll survive the abuse of a 39.5-inch tire and like a 5,000-pound car. Yeah, if I know anything, I know that we can at least cobble it together when it inevitably does break, because it will. So, we just got this thing lower to the ground where it's easier to work on and less likely to fall off the jack stands and kill us. We got one broken wheel stud, but 5 is good enough. And we apparently had some tenants in here before we took this thing out of Florida. There's a bird's nest. We got rat nest, bird's nest, wasp nest, a little bit of everything. It's like a nature preserve. This car is just going to get nicer and nicer. I found the cover that goes under the steering column. That's a must.
We'll dress it up. I like the fishing boat seat.
You remember Ford Rangers, how they had those little jump seats in the back?
Yeah.
That's what that reminds me of.
Yeah, but
We got to turn it sideways.
This is a nitro bass boat.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
AC compressor?
Oh yeah, it's got AC.
No, it does not. It's getting the trunk cleaned up here. Got most of the old carpet and matting out. Still got a little bit to deal with. There's the actual mouse nest, but here's their latrine, apparently, and it is rough. Whew! And I'm sure there wasn't any asbestos in there either. So we spent a little time cleaning it up. Look at the trunk. Doesn't have any more mouse turds in it. And inside, haven't vacuumed yet, but I got all the leaves out of the interior. Don't mind that hole, that's just extra ventilation. And all the leaves are on the ground underneath. Cadillac has already drawn a little blood, which for sure is going to give me lockjaw because I haven't had a tetanus shot in far too long. We got somebody watching us. I can't tell if he approves of what we're doing or if he is just sitting there like, oh my goodness, I can't believe these idiots. Got one of those expressions that could go either way.
Yeah.
What would Jesus do? Not this. So inside you can see this right here. The Cadillac frame is still right here on the outside. So we got double frame rails. Extra strong. But when they sat the Cadillac down on the frame, they didn't get this body mount out. So I figured a little hammer work, she'll come right out. That pristine floor, you know. There you go. Yep, there's a master cylinder, and there's a master cylinder, but this thing still has no brakes, even with 2 master cylinders. And look at that rat's nest where the wiring. That's gonna need fixed, for sure. So my dad's been up here working on the brakes, and we have had 0 brakes in this car. And, you know, that might have something to do with it. I've seen people block off a port and use only one side, but I've never seen them do it that way. Not sure how that flare would actually seat in the hole with that bolt head sticking out.
Not so well.
Not so well.
Yeah.
So we got to replace a brake line and get rid of that because that is janky. For those of you guys that don't know, this is basically cheap racing oil. So we're going to run some 1540 in the Cadillac, and this has all that zinc and good stuff in it, and you don't got to pay extra. We are spending way too much money on this project.
At least we're being patriotic.
But look at it. It's like it was meant to be. You got red, white, and blue. ATF, engine oil, gear oil. Perfect. So we just drug my dad's 1970 C10 up out of the woods over here at my grandma's house. And yes, that would be Sally. And we're going to steal this hitch off the back of it because we need a receiver point on the rear of the Cadillac, and these frames are the same width. So it's not doing any good on this truck that's just sitting anyway. And just like that, we've got ourselves a brand new hitch. It's actually like 40 years old, but it's brand new now. And it was only held on with 2 bolts, which, you know, was convenient for taking it off, but it's not very conducive to towing anything. Granted, this thing needs some love before it tows anything at all. We got a couple little other goodies sitting over here. It's our 1967 C10. We've had that since I was 15 years old. And then, of course, the clean Hornet. Looking mighty fine. Just pulled the car cover off of it. Gonna fire this sucker up and let it run a little bit because it's been a little neglected. So it is now 11:30 on day 1 of this 3-day build, and the car still looks exactly the same. Yep, we really haven't touched it since about 4 o'clock. Instead of actually working on the car, we watched a movie. We spent 4 hours running errands. We went and ate good food twice in that time. We drank whiskey.
But it is my 57th birthday. So
And it is your birthday, so we have a good
I had to have
excuse.
some downtime.
But this is 1 out of 3 build days that we have pretty much wasted. So we gotta get to work, and now we got 2 days to get this done instead of 3. Why did we do this to ourselves? Maybe I'll strap myself to the trailer while you drive on the way up there, and I'll wrench on it underneath. That'll be great. He's 57 years old, folks, and this might be the last time we see him. He's doing pretty good. We're supposed to be working on that.
I gotta do it one more time.
You alright? This is not the right thing to fall on.
Look, that was right by his head.
What an idiot. So I'm here working on the front hubs because I got to get these apart to get the axles out so I can get the gear set out and swap it over.
But we're dealing with this, which I haven't really worked on a lot of 4-wheel drives, and this is where the witchcraft and sorcery happens with your selectable hubs. And I'm getting it apart. It looks a little crusty, like it hadn't been used in a long time, but otherwise, everything looks like it's intact, and that's a good sign. I just got this hub off, and check it out, we got all kinds of wildlife in here. Got a little cockroach hanging out, and I don't know what in the world that is. That thing probably hitched a ride from Florida. Yep, all kinds of wildlife living in this thing. Definitely a Florida man car. I don't know if you guys can see that, but a lot of water just came out of that, and that's not good. But at least there's a good bit of diff fluid.
You know what happens when you don't have the right tool and it's the middle of the night so you can't go buy it?
You do stupid stuff like this. So if you ever worked on a 4x4 front hub, it's got this nut in there, and you need a special socket to get it out. And there's our special socket.
It's special, all right.
It is definitely special.
It is not working.
I think we're just going to have to go buy the right tool in the morning, because this is stupid. It doesn't look like we've done anything, and that's pretty much because we haven't. It'll be fine. Well, his stupid tool might not have worked.
Beating on it with a hammer worked.
Hammers fix everything. Depending on how you swing it, you can do pretty much anything with a hammer. And there's the proof right there. Yeah, buddy. Status update for you guys. So far, we have done nothing but take the car apart, other than replacing one brake line. But we have to take the car apart to make it better because it needed new gears. The thing just wouldn't even get out of its own way with the old gears. So we're going to 456s. I think they were like 327s or something is what was in there. So it's going to be a lot better with a steeper gear. But we kind of need a morale boost right now, and what better way do you do that than do something that's incredibly visual but requires almost no effort? We're going to go trophy truck style with those tires. They're coming out of the trunk. That is right. It's going to look epic. Oh, man. That is the coolest possible spare tire setup we could have come up with. Look at it. It's amazing. Mad Max would be jealous of this rig. And then the fuel cell's gonna go right in there. Oh yeah, it fits snug. That's amazing. All you gotta do is just look over here and all the motivation is back. That's why you do stupid things like put your spare tires up in the back like that. Oh, it's so good. Needless to say, we have a lot to do over the next 2 days. But I think this is all going to go pretty quick. At least that's what I'm going to tell myself so that I can actually sleep tonight. There's lots to be done. We bit off probably more than we could chew, but we're stubborn, so we'll get it done. Anyway, time for some bed. Or some sleep. I don't know. Words. Alrighty guys, it is day 2 on the Cadillac build, and we have pretty much everything left to do. Yeah, we were looking at our list last night, and we didn't get to cross even one thing off. That's not good. I actually added an item, clean out car, just so I could cross it off because I was so disappointed. But it does look pretty rad with those tires in the back. And we did get the axles all the way apart, so now I just get to swap the gears, toss them back in there, tighten everything up, fill up the fluid, and she should be good to go as far as gears go, but so much to do. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to film today. We don't have enough time for this, but we're going to get it at least mostly done. We'll see what happens. Never know unless you try, right? And nothing would ever get done if it wasn't for the last minute. That's the ode of all procrastinators, and I am definitely a procrastinator. Anyway, let's get after it. I figure we need to have a roll bar in the Cadillac because that thing's pretty top heavy and we're going to be on some pretty severe trails, so it might roll over, and I'd rather not get my skull bashed in by a rock. So we got these Jeeps sitting up here that's a future project. We got 2 Jeeps that we're going to turn into one. They both have their issues, but we only need 1 roll cage, and we're going to use the family style roll cage on our Jeep build. So this little regular Jeep YJ cage, we're going to take it and put it in the Cadillac, and it is almost exactly the same width as the top of the Cadillac windshield, so it's going to be perfect. But I will say, whoever at Jeep designed these stupid little things, Torx-headed bolts that hold in the roll cage, they deserve to be punished severely because about 25% of the time, these strip out, and that's exactly how it went. 3 out of 12 are stripped, so now I get to drill out 3 bolts in the rain here in Georgia. Thanks, Chrysler.
You're the best. So, got to drill that guy out. Both of them on that side. And all the other ones came out, luckily. So, we're doing all right. And don't mind that. That's fine. Whew. That was a lot of work. I'm sweating like crazy. But I got these two drilled out, as well as the one on that side. And look at that nice piece of metal that came off there. I had my feed speed just perfect. But again, Torx bolts right here, stupid. Alright, we're going to get rid of this junk yoke convertible top. We can't have something like this cramping the style of this machine. Plus it weighs a lot, and this thing's already top heavy. And we don't want to roll over.
This is rolling off the back. It's hanging on. There we go. Here, you said that return. Oh gosh.
Whew, that was heavy. That'll work though. Just need some trimming. I don't have all the parts I need, but luckily I only live about 45 minutes from Summit Racing. Gonna jump in the old Wagoneer here with Moby riding shotgun, and we're gonna go pick up some parts. Parts right here are coming through that door. Way too much stuff. Just like that, short little drive with my dog Moby. I got a whole bunch of parts from Summit Racing Equipment. Yeah, buddy. Love having this place so close. All right, back to the house. So this is the Jeep roll bar, and next on the agenda is to cut it so it fits in there. So I marked a line on both sides because this isn't exactly a bolt-in replacement part.
No, not at all.
But we're going to cut this, make it fit. It'll probably take a few times cutting it, setting it back in the car, cutting it again, setting it back in the car. But that's just the way it goes when you're putting Jeep parts on a 67 Cadillac. After a little bit of cutting and fitting, maybe a little bit of arguing, look at that. It's not actually welded in or bolted in or anything, but that looks killer. Look how nice it flows with the lines of the car, too. I dig it.
Yeah.
Now it needs some off-road lights up there.
Why didn't the engineers think of that when they made this car?
Yeah, Cadillac, what were you doing? This is how it should have come. That is cool. So I'm in the garage taking apart one of these 10 bolts. And you might notice, if you look real close, that is a left-hand thread. And so if you try to buzz that off by doing lefty-loosey, yep, you're going to break it. So if you're working on an 8.5-inch diameter 10 bolt, remember, these are left-hand thread. That'll save you a lot of time and trouble. Anyway, I got to finish buzzing this one off, and then I got one more to do over there, and then I got to run these back over there and put the new gears on them. But check it out, I'm using the original Cadillac air cleaner as my parts bin, because I have no use for that other than storing all these bits in it. Yeah, buddy, we're making progress here at Sally's Speed Shop. So I'm working on getting the new gears installed on the Carrier. Got 456 ring and pinion. And I also got some install kits. We'll see how it goes. So this electric fan right here was on the car when we got it. No idea if it works or not, but I'm about to test it and see what happens. Don't know what's power and what's ground here. I think it's a dual speed fan because it's got 3 connections. We're going to see what happens though. That thing works good. So it seems like it's set up to be a pusher, which is what we need because it's on the front of the radiator.
That's right.
Push it real good.
Push it real good. What are you doing?
I'm doing a little modification to this here. I guess it's the hood catch support because the core support used to be back here, but it's been cut out. So our fan sits against this, and I don't like that. So I'm gonna clearance it a little bit. A little more cutting. It's fine. You didn't see that. Good morning, everybody. It's officially daylight again, which is great because we haven't slept. But we didn't really make all that much progress either. It doesn't feel like it, but we're getting the body actually tied into the frame. We're actually mating what's left of the Cadillac frame to the K10 chassis, and it's going all right. Transcooler's in. The radiator's mounted. The fuel cell's in other than bolts because he doesn't like any of my bolts I have laying around. Put a U-joint in the front drive shaft. We still have to set up the new gears, so we got the pinions sitting in the freezer so that they get cold, and then we're going to put the bearings that are going to go on them in a toaster oven or something and heat those suckers up, and hopefully they slide on. We'll see how it goes. There's a lot left to do. We still need to give the car a tune-up, change the carburetor, set the timing, fix all the wiring, and then weld everything that we've done together. We got this, right? Yeah. Who needs sleep?
Well, that right there was pretty stupid, but I think it worked. We put our pinions in the freezer and our bearings in the toaster oven and made a press fit happen without a press. That's what we wanted. Not conventional and definitely not exactly the right way to do it, but it's not stupid if it works, right?
So I'm in here doing some wiring, and I really haven't dove into this engine at all. But look at that! It's got Dart cylinder heads on it. Straight race motor. I've never owned a pair in my life. And now they're on this contraption. Lovely. That's cool though. I've been doing some wiring here in the car. I got this fancy quick car switch panel. So we got our ignition. Whoop. Turn the wipers on. And then we have our fans. They're running under the hood. And we have our lights. Check it out. Lights are on. Fan is running. It's pulling just like it's supposed to. Good bit of airflow. She's good to go. At least on that end. This end, not so much. So we're finally getting the front hubs back together. And the driver's side hub looks like it's been on the bottom of the ocean for a while. So much so that the bearing itself in there is actually rusty. So this thing went in some mud at some point, and this wasn't completely sealed. And that's what happens. And I've already cleaned this a little bit. Ugh. Gross. Well, looks like we're not going to make it to the event. And that's a giant bummer because this car was going to be so cool when it was done. But for some reason, the gear set that we bought just would not work with our rear end housing. I mean, it just, no matter what we did, it was always binding. It won't spin freely. And we kind of had to re-gear the car because the thing wouldn't even get out of its own way. It could barely go up a hill. And that was with momentum. So it needed new gears, but yeah, we didn't get it done. It's a huge bummer. This thing fought us tooth and nail all day. We got everything else done on the car, essentially, other than the gears. And as a result, we can't roll the car. We can't drive the car. It's just here dead in the water. We put in a lot of work, a lot of time, lost a lot of sleep, and we're missing out on a good time up in Tennessee at the Death Wish Mud Buggy Adventure. But maybe we can cobble it together enough tomorrow or something to see if we can get up there. If not, though, it's time to clean the shop because it is a complete and total disaster in here. Shop's not even done and we already ruined it. Sometimes it just doesn't work. That's how it goes when you're building cars. You run into problems with aftermarket parts. But it's got some fancy doodads on it now. The wiring's good. The lights work. It's got a cool Jeep roll bar in it. Look at that. It's rad. But that's the way it goes. And if this is in fact the end of the episode, thanks to you guys for watching and following along. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to see daily content while we're actually working on this stuff, follow me at Jacob Ross Davis on Instagram. Anyway, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Hope you're having a wonderful day.